So let's
Yeah.
see. What do I have here next? So you really did kind of touch on what helped you make that decision to move abroad. You were saying that you were having a little bit of burnout, but if you want to touch on that a little bit more, what helped you kind of make that final decision to take the leap and move abroad?
So I think honestly, the seed was planted since I was probably 3 or 4 years old that I was going to move abroad. And that sounds crazy, but I started traveling as an unaccompanied minor when I was about 4 years old, domestically. And then as an unaccompanied minor when I was 10, internationally. So I never learned the fear of flying. I never learned the fear of being in different spaces or being by myself and how to navigate these spaces. Obviously when you're 4 and you're 10, you're not by yourself for long, but I never had that kind of fear. And it was very normal for my parents and my family to travel, so I never had anyone who was like, what are you doing and what are you talking about, and we don't do that. I didn't have that. So when I was about 17, I could actually articulate, I want to live abroad, like I want to do that. And so when I went to university, I knew I wanted to study abroad. I pursued it like a crazy person. I went to all the study abroad fairs. I picked up all the glossy magazines. Sorry for the environmentalists because I did pick up every single one. I think I recycled them though, but picked them all up. Had a huge like canvas bag to give you all the free stuff. Poured it all on the floor of my dorm and just looked at every single one. And regardless if it fit my major or not, I didn't even care. I was like, what? I can go to Tanzania? Yes. I go to Australia? Yes. Greece? Amazing. It for me, it was just the possibility for me to go that was so exciting. And it didn't really matter if I could speak the language because I was like, I've already traveled. At that time, I'd already traveled to Europe and I didn't speak French. I didn't speak German. And I was like, I worked it out.
Right.
So I wasn't worried. Now I ended up picking a program here in Spain, in Valencia, that actually did fit my major and my minor. I was a business major and I went and took international business courses and I took Spanish courses because I minored in Spanish. So actually, I did have some sense and did do that route. And that experience was amazing and also a little bit underwhelming. Amazing because I made it happen, but then underwhelming because I think we romanticize living abroad, and I didn't have this picture perfect study abroad experience. It was a cohort of like 50 students. I was the only Black person in my cohort. None of the students were, when we went to university, none of the other students, people were like, what are you doing here? People would at my university be like, who are you? And what are you doing? I'm a student here to learn Spanish and international business. That's an experience I couldn't share. I also, for me, it was a big privilege to be able to study abroad because study abroad is usually, unfortunately, quite expensive. And some of the people in my cohort were just like, vacation, 6 month vacation, and didn't really take it seriously. That was disheartening. And behave in, vile ways that give Americans bad reputations. So that was disheartening. But it didn't discourage me from pursuing a life abroad because it was just a life lesson, realizing that there are going to be people who don't take full advantage of opportunities. There are going to be people who are just going to act out, no matter where they are, just going to act a fool. And that
Very
was a life
true.
lesson I needed to learn. And then, with all those experiences, I went to law school, I did all these things, and it just really kept on nagging me. I wanted to live abroad, I wanted to make it happen. And then it was just like, okay, I'm going to just take a chance to go ahead and do that. I know that I wasn't happy and I was burnt out. Um, and it was hard for me to make that decision to leave because I think American culture does a really good job of programming you to be working, working, working. And if you don't have this level of success, you're obviously not working that hard. And that we all know that's not the truth.
Right.
And if you leave, then you're running away and you're scared and all these other things. You're a quitter, and that was hard to overcome. But then I said, you know what? I care more about one, the things that I deeply want more than what anyone else has to think about it. And I care deeply about my wellness. I need space and time. I didn't think moving to Spain was going to be like a cure-all for my life, because it wasn't. But it gave me the space and the time to deal with things. It gave me the time to be really clear and be really honest with myself about what I wanted and how I wanted to approach my life. And so that's how I made that leap. And it was a leap. It wasn't like easy, you know, especially because La Rioja, unlike Barcelona, they really just speak Spanish.
Right.
Here in Barcelona, a lot of people speak English. There's a lot of foreigners, there's a lot of expats. But they're like, we just speak Spanish. So I was rusty, but it was helpful.
Well, I'm glad.